evening, everybody. This is a specially noticed town board meeting for 5 p.m. We're going to have a regular town board meeting at 6 p.m. We've noticed this meeting to meet with potential vendors for our townwide assessment reevaluation project. We recommended company Tyler Tech, but I'm calling the meeting to order and asking that everybody stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We can't notice an executive session. We can only make a motion to go in executive session at a regularly scheduled meeting, which is what this is. We can either talk publicly, or we can motion to go into an executive session and talk specifically to Tyler Tech, so I leave that up to everybody here. Do you,
I'm going to start, see how it goes.
is that all right with you guys if we discuss this all publicly?
So why not?
Jennifer?
It's fine with us.
Okay, so this is a very informal workshop. Thanks for coming. Tyler Technologies is the recommended vendor to do our townwide reevaluation reassessment, and that's the committee that was our former elected assessors, Jennifer and Bill McGann, and myself and Alan Scher, and in conjunction with the mayor. So thank you for bidding. We wanted to meet because my board hadn't met you yet, I have, and I had specific questions that we wanted answered beforehand. We just wanted, I think I emailed them to you, which was confirming a schedule with staffing breakdown per the schedule, and what you'll need in terms of workstations, and et cetera. And this was based on, I think, awarding the job to start in May or June, knowing that we may have to push it back to June, but hoping we could start in May.
You want to know?
Well, okay, I mean, that's, my understanding was to meet the board, and also just so the board doesn't have information, if I may.
Thank you.
There's a mic right there.
Just some information as well about the company, and I realize you've got that.
Yeah,
Just so you know a little bit more about who we are and so forth. Thank you.
this is Bob Marshall.
I'm Bob Marshall, Senior Account Executive with Tyler Technologies Appraisal and Tax Division. This is Salim Sadar. He is the New York area manager. Salim has, I've got 30 years, he's got me beat. We all get to the point where we don't like to say it anymore. Probably got 35 years, he's got, I couldn't name how many New York projects he's worked on. And probably the last few years just finished up in Cornwall. We just finished up in Westchester, Greenberg, Ossining, North Salem.
Yeah, we've spoken to most of them.
Okay, so just, and also Steve Vesio. Again, Steve, I don't know if you got us beat, but he's in the 30s too, as far as, he lives in New York. He has, again, just tremendous amount of experience in New York. So you've got a very, very experienced senior team. It's more than anyone else in the business, quite frankly. So I know you just had questions, so I guess the easiest is if you want to present them to, I apologize, I did not print out the email. I had sent it out, I didn't print it out.
That's okay, I just wanted you to confirm
Yeah.
your schedule and the staffing breakdown for the schedule. I want to know who's going to be here, and if you have specific who's going to be assigned to us, will those people be here the whole time? And Jennifer, whatever questions Jennifer, and Matt Sabia is now our sole appointed assessor, so it's, you can meet with them as well.
On that.
Oh, thank you.
Hi,
how are you?
Matt, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. You all, do you have a copy?
No, I guess we
If we have one to share, I'm sure.
Jennifer has it.
Okay.
I have
That's fine.
the schedule and layout.
through this? I mean, we know that the project will start in June of this year, and it'll take you a year, 25 months to complete it, correct? So we'll be on the rolls for July of 2020 for the 2021 year.
Yes, what we came up with the plan, again, this is subject to change based on the agreement, based on when we start the job, when it will start and the end. But most of it, it was basically the same start and end. We planning, again, according to your email, we could start in May, but we pushed it to June. So if we start in June, the first thing we're going to do is the training, which is very important. Then after the training, we're going to send out what we call brochures or pre-inspection letter to the homeowners.
Public information.
Public information, we're going to do public information as needed.
And are we going to see all of that and approve it before it goes out, or is it specific to us? Like, will we get to see these mailings or the information?
Everything we do has to be approved by the town or by the assessor.
Okay.
The public information, we could have meetings, invite the public. We could have a public information meeting with individuals, could be certain group, veterans or condo association, we could have meeting with them separately. So this will go the whole entire project. Whenever needs it, we'll do it.
Okay.
The pre-inspection letter, that's what's going out to the public before we go out in the field. This way they won't be surprised. They know we're coming in a week or so. Again, all that will be approved by the town or the assessor.
So the data collection residential, that's about a 6-month period. How many people will be collecting data?
We anticipate to have 2 or 3 people.
We have 3,800 parcels, is that enough?
I mean, if we need more, we will add more. We have personnel, we always could add more, but right now we have about 3
Jennifer, do you
people.
have input on that?
Well, I believe they're experienced data collectors, so I'm sure they'll know when, or if they reach a point where they need to call in additional staff. And I've been told that they're willing to do that from
We-
some of the
I just-
conversations.
it's
We're
like-
not doing the interiors either.
No,
No
no.
interior.
We're doing the outside,
So we're-
the exterior.
A lot of it will, be just verified because the data is correct, and then the time will be more consuming when they have to actually
It's about
start.
160
measuring.
properties a week if you're going on a 6-month schedule. Okay.
Again, if we need more resources we have, we could bring in, but we, for now to start the project. Again, what we're going to do when we start, we're going to put a plan together between us and the assessor. And every month we visit the plan to see which of these activities we are lacking behind or ahead of the schedule. Also, we will have a status meeting every month between us, and I'm sure ORBS, the state, New York State, they will be involved, and that's
The owners will sit in on the meeting with you?
Yes,
Yes.
every month.
Steve or,
Steve,
Even John usually did.
John,
wow.
Yeah, usually both of them, they come. For every meeting we have in Cornwall every month, usually both of them, they are there.
So the residential appointments are if residents want you to do an interior of their house or have specific questions about, explain the residential appointments.
The residential appointment, I think in the contract, what is it, no one home or
Well, if there's no access.
no access to
No.
the property, we cannot go on the property, we send them a
we
letter.
have many parcels where we'll need to get, some access, either it's gated or through a caretaker or some, a letter in advance to the property owner to set up a meeting or a time for
What
us
if,
to do that.
what if people don't allow us access to their proproperties?
Then we'll use whatever information we can gather through other
Historical
sources,
data.
historical and orthophotography or pictometry or whatever we have access to.
Okay.
There was a recent flyover of the county, I believe it was 2016. So
Yes.
we do have a lot of up-to-date photography.
Okay. So June through,
May I ask a question?
yeah.
I was going to say, I think North Salem's assessor told me how successful you all were with getting access to a lot of parcels because they have a ton of gated, like specialty properties, particularly horses, right? So why were you successful there? What works to get into properties like that?
First, the town has to be involved, especially the assessors, and even the town board. When you talk to the people, you encourage them to come in. We put notices in the paper. We send them flyers. Also, what's a little bit different over there, we have what we did the first call, second call, and third call. If all these 3 attempts fails, we send them appointment letter, call us to make an appointment. Then we send them a data mail. We still give them the option if there is discrepancy, or you want us to come back, so we will.
The data meaning what you
Data.
what you can tell right now.
What they
Gotcha.
call property description report, and so we send them that also. Some of them, they will see some of the information they are estimated. So they call us to make an appointment. So you have like almost 4 or 5 attempts. Especially the third one, if nobody home at the first time, the first visit, second visit. The third visit we do usually on the weekend or after 5. So you capture more people. Plus the word of mouth, going around from the assessor, from the town, from your neighbors, from anybody to know. that-
Will we have that many calls for second and third here?
No, that's not the contract.
That's not in the book.
How many do we have?
One.
One,
Is that going to be enough?
verify the data, well, that's one, it's verify the measurements, not doing an interior
Right. Unless somebody requests it, right.
unless they request it.
If I could just make a comment on that, just to keep apples to apples. Greenberg, Ossining, we literally were building databases. It had been, I don't know, 50 years since they'd done
They
it.
said it an awfully long
You're
time.
not talking about that here.
Okay.
There was a low level of confidence on the data, I guess is the best way I could put it.
Okay.
That- and you can't-
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you're not talking about the same thing
Gotcha.
here. Now, we could do that, I mean, in all honesty too, the cost is twice as much too, as you would expect.
Yeah,
But so they're not the same thing, so I just want to make that comment.
okay,
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we have a
Right.
basic
gotcha.
data description, inventory description. We want to go out and verify it. And,
But we're not rebuilding.
right, we don't
Recreating
need to
it, no.
rebuild everything unless they drive up and there's a house on
Something
a vacant lot.
Which has happened
Which
before in the
has
last revale.
happened.
Yeah.
So,
Surprise.
yeah, so it's instances like that where, you'll see it taking a little more time and effort. And while we'll have some parcels we don't have access to, I mean, and there's plenty, there's several. I think the public information sessions really help people understand what we're doing and why we're coming there. And so it just takes away a little bit of the fear and intimidation of having somebody coming knocking on your door.
So one thing that would be really helpful to us too is text we could put out on our email site, on our Facebook page, and on our email blasts, and on all, like the community forums. As much written material as we can post it in a myriad of different places to let people
We
know.
could give you brochures, we could give you press release.
Specific to what's going on here.
Specific to every stage of the
Yeah.
project. And when we go data collection, we'll give you one you could put on your website. When we do the data description report, we could do the same thing. When we do take photos of the property. So every step we could give you.
Okay.
A lot of times they use it, put them on their website.
Yeah, good.
So all the public this will be aware of.
Yeah, so what do I tell somebody who's a homeowner that comes to me and says, should I let these guys onto my property?
Yes.
Yeah, but why? I mean, what's the What's
Well,
it,
it's, actually-
what's in it for them?
To ensure the data is correct. If the data, the information correct about your house, then you know the assessment will be reasonable. But if you have, because sometimes if we don't have any information or the old records could be really old, or especially when they build additions, or we could estimate. An estimate usually, it is wrong, we'll take an educated guess, but I mean, sometimes you never know what's there.
But can the homeowner see what your estimates are before they decide to let you
That's
know?
why we're going to send them
The
what they call
data sheet.
data
Got it,
description
okay.
report.
All right.
That's what we have, what we estimated. If we don't have any information, that's what we
Got it.
have.
And that will be happening with our contract, just not the second and third calls.
After
Gotcha.
we're done with data collection, they get the property description report, and they respond to that, correct any errors if you
So we have to
request
collect the
request an
data
appointment.
first before we send them the
Gotcha.
description.
Gotcha.
But they will.
On the data mailer, there won't be an assessment estimate. That will come towards the end of the project when we send out disclosure statements. So that's a different
Right,
stage.
but if you think the house is 20,000 square feet, it's only 2,000 square feet.
Right.
I'm sure they will.
Yes. But it's also, it's something to keep in mind that a home could be over-assessed as well as under-assessed.
Sure.
So you could be paying more than your fair share. And, that's what we're here. We're here to correct those problems too. So,
At the very least, you want to know that your assessment was based on accurate information.
yeah.
I'm just thinking of some of my neighbors.
Oh, I understand. I mean, you may hit a brick wall there.
We're, for the data collection and all the appointments and photographic and imaging, that will be Rich Nicolosi and one or two other people TBD. Will you need 2 to 3 workstations here for that?
We're going to need 2 workstations. Because one of them definitely will be for the full-time clerk office. For the clerk office, yes. This way she could do the data entry, load the images, the
So you're going to have
sketches.
someone full-time in the office loading whatever they bring in?
And the second workstation will be for, most of the time will be for Steve. This way he could do his work analysis, especially on the commercial, he will be doing some of the
Do you bring your own computers?
I mean, we could,
Please.
just we need access.
We have Wi-Fi.
Do you are you hosting your own server, or we have to down into the
And
county?
the servers are right behind them.
You're-
Behind the
Behind the
Your
purple.
RPS data is on that server?
It's on Citrix. It's on
It's on Citrix.
Dutchess
It's
County,
Which
it's
is
a countywide
Yeah,
file.
but the
So we have to have dedicated lines, right, hard lines, and,
no.
Dedicated lines.
With dedicated lines, you can just log on through the internet.
well, you can.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
secure access.
Secure access, you can log on through the internet.
Okay.
VPN,
Yeah,
yeah, VPN.
Is that all right?
but we think that we could probably accommodate 2 workstations
Well, that's the
in
next
the office once the staffing changes. In the office where where Matt is in that whole
Yeah, we make 2
area, we
stations
could
there.
make 2 workstations there. We were discussing that before.
Actually, the job we just finished in New York, which is Cornwall, also Orange County hosting their RPM. So all what you have to do is log in, and I used my laptop, because they give us 2 people log in, so which is Steve and I, because the town was responsible to do their own data entry. But in this case, we're responsible for it, so we need 1 dedicated line for the clerk office. Then the second line between Steve and I, we could work on. So we use our laptops. We could just dial in, and you could sit anywhere, really, as long as you have internet access, then we could sit anywhere and
Okay.
just do it.
Well, we could have 2 dedicated spaces downstairs. There's overflow
Yeah,
space
that's
here.
totally
There's
fine.
my office on a big table.
Do you need
That's
locked
good
space
state.
to leave anything?
If you have, I mean, yeah.
Well, I guess-
Like cabinet,
Put it in there, and-
yeah.
We would have room.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
because our office is locked every night,
yes.
so.
So again, we could log in, we could use our laptop, but for the office clerk, probably we need 1 in there. So I'll just need 2 connections, will be fine.
And then The neighborhood delineations, that's building all the mass appraisal stuff? Is that the part of
It's
the
the
mass?
beginning of land values and
Neighborhood delineation and income expense, that's all mass
Yes.
appraisal?
and
So-
the updated collection. we have to-
So that'll be done here as well with the same two workstations?
Sure, you really do that by going out in the field and at the same time looking at your sales.
So it's the same, just
Those
the
are
same
in
space?
geographic areas where similar properties sell for similar dollars.
Okay. All right, as long as you're, we are space challenged here, but we'll accommodate you, we'll make a workspace, we'll have locked file cabinets, we'll provide overflow during the day, as long as that's flexible for you, that's what we have.
Do you have any equipment such as like printer we could use or?
There's
Yeah.
printers available downstairs.
Yes. Color, black and white, yeah.
Well, color is,
No,
No
I mean,
color.
black and white would be fine.
we have black and white.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't.
And you got an IT person who would.
We have IT contractors.
Oh, I see.
Well, Alan is our de facto IT, but we do
I don't even
have,
know what it stands for. No, I've been
Don't run out the door.
so if you need anything, you should call me.
we have
Well, it's just
the guys who are working here in the back,
Oh,
we have
put
a,
the printer up to
yes, we'll take care of it.
a laptop. so it's-
There's a guy you can call, it's like the first line of defense for
The guy,
IT.
call the guy.
Fred, his name
Jennifer, do you have any specific questions?
No, we were going to address the space, which Matt and I had talked about before we came out. I'm
You
not
guys
sure
are-
if there's any other
Matt, Don,
information
you're
that you
comfortable
guys
with that?
would need.
And
Yeah.
get
But you
another
can
log
always
cabinet for
contact
them?
Matt and myself, and
Hi, how are
We'll,
you? I'm not even getting around to you.
work to get you all the information we can so we can make it smooth, easy
Done.
work area and work environment for you guys. And I think just communicating between each other is the best way to move forward.
I do a lot of that.
So Steve, you'll be here most of the time.
Well, for this period, for the data collection, yes, I'll be out in the field and in the office. Rich will be out in the field and in the office to bring in work.
But
And the
you're pretty
clerical
much
person.
consistent throughout the
Yes.
process for us.
Yeah, he will be doing our neighborhood delineation, which is just divide the town basically into sections, similar homes, similar prices. Could be one, see how many neighborhoods we need, especially when we pull comps to compare your house to other 5 houses or 3 houses sold. So to get a poll from this similar kind of neighborhood or geographic area. That's what the neighborhood delineation means. So we'll have a map, will show the boundary for each section or, all this is just to pull comps. This way you don't want the east side pulling from the west side, for example, if they are totally different prices, different houses. You get all your big colonials in this side and the ranches in here, so you don't want to mix them. So that's what the neighborhood is for.
We're a little bit more eclectic than that, I think, as you guys are aware.
Yeah, just,
More town versus
yeah,
village.
still for,
Where would you want your comps to come from for any given house?
yes, that's.
Anywhere throughout the town, certainly, right? Yeah.
Then what we're going to do is the land values, we're going to look if we have any sales. I don't know how many sales you have, vacant land sales in the town.
Yes,
If not, then what we're going to do,
Abstraction.
abstraction from the sale. Then we're going to calibrate the cost, which is basically Marshall Swift or the RPS. They come up with the land value. That's for residential and commercial. Also commercial, we're going to send what we call income and expense statements. I don't know how much they'll respond. Just to give you an example, in Connecticut, it's mandatory for the commercial property to respond, or otherwise you could hit it with 10% penalty.
The owner of the property tells you their income and expenses?
Yes.
So,
Income and
the
expenses,
rental.
what we
Yeah,
call
yeah.
rentals. In Connecticut, you have to supply the assessor every year with your rental information and your expense. If you don't, the town could, assessor has by the law to hit you 10% if you don't.
Will you be looking at condos for us too? Because we have, okay, and you'll reassess all,
Yeah,
because that's all done by rental basis, isn't it? Not real property.
They're required to be valued like apartments.
like apartments. So we could collect, we're going to send out the income and expense report, hopefully we'll get some back, will give us an idea. If not, there's other sources. We could get rental income from, could be real estate. could
Well,
be
MLS, certainly,
Or
yeah.
MLS, that's what, yeah, MLS, real estate office or agent, or,
Okay.
so we could get any of that information. Because most of the commercial will be done based on income approach
Okay.
rather than cost. Some of course you have to do by cost. That's when we're going to start our valuation. After the valuation, physically our people, could Steve, myself, Rich, and we have another person on, they will have the valuation sheet, which will have the subject house with all the information, the square footage, the bedroom, bathroom, and we'll have the 5 comparable houses. So they will be driving, looking from the street, looking at every house, and make a judgment. This is the value, correct value? Is the comps, they are real good comps or not? If they see the comps, it's not, the system is not pulling the good comps, we could manually pick which comps we want for that property. So they will have it, they will come up with a value. After they come up with a value, then the analysis starts. We're going to show you, we'll meet with you, we'll show you the presentation about the shift between commercial, residential, condos, vacant land, what's going to happen to each one of these classes towards the end. So we could show you all that stuff.
And the 4th class are the utilities, but the state assesses those for us, or the county assesses those for us?
The state advisory, they will do section 6. Section 6, you know, the telephone poles and all that stuff they do. And they do special franchise. All right, so
Yes.
section 5 and 6.
And the railroad too.
And the railroad 7, yes, you go. But the land and the buildings will do. But the other part of it,
Residential, commercial, land is all new.
yeah, even with the public utility, we do the land. The
Oh,
state
okay.
will do
The
Improvements.
the improvements. So we could show you all the shift, what's going to happen between all these classes.
What does it look like? Are there spreadsheets that you're working on? Or is it an Excel spreadsheet? Or what will the information look like to us? Will it be an address with an old assessment and a new assessment? Or a parcel number? What does it look
Which
like?
particular document?
When you're showing us the,
No, the system itself will come up with, will show you residential overall, commercial, vacant land, condos.
but they're all
utility.
broken up to individual parcels within the.
No.
They're in the aggregate. It'll show us aggregate
They're
totals.
summarized.
Yeah, and so it'll show us, you know, before the project, this was your residential class, this is what it is, the value of it now. The disclosure processing will give people their individual assessment changes. So that's where
Can
we
we
break
see
it
them now
down.
if we want to?
Yeah, it's all public.
Right.
We actually mail them out to everybody.
So you could print a list of those things you're describing?
You see,
Well, we do it for the informal hearings.
Right.
There's a list on site. Everyone can look
Yes.
up anyone else's value.
Exactly, yeah.
before we send the notice to the individual taxpayer, you have to approve it. You have to look at the shifts between classes. If the town says, okay, we will send out the taxpayer, everyone, their own assessment, which were the prior assessment, the current assessment, and what is it doing to their taxes
But the
estimated.
estimated tax is based on the previous year's
Previous
levy.
tax.
Yes,
So it really is
same level.
what's happening to your share.
Sure.
It will show the village, if there is village, town, county, and school. So everybody will see those for the shift for individual house. But the one we're going to present to you overall, for the whole town, you can see is the commercial going up, the residential going down. So this way you can look at it. Then we're going to send out this disclosure notice to the taxpayers. Then what we're going to do, hold informal hearings. Anybody has a question, how did you come up with my value? I'm not happy with my value, or my value too high or low, whatever the case is. We'll give them a phone number. Some of them, they do tell him because he wants to sell the house. They'll tell you my value is too low. So, because they want to sell it,
I guess that's right.
we'll have informal hearings. They will call us, we'll set up an appointment, we'll meet with them one-on-one. After we meet with them, we talk, we decide, both of us, the company and the assessor will review the informals or the complaint. If we make a decision, change the value, do not change it. Also later on, we'll send them a lot of back. Re-notice. Yes, your value, we changed it to this amount, or we did not change it. So anybody comes in will receive a notice, second notice from us about the decision we came up with. Change of value or we did not change. That's after the informal, then I guess the Board of Assessor appeal.
Now, the biggest tax burden for people in the town is the school taxes, but the school district is larger than the town.
There are,
Covers.
the school district live in Clinton, Milan, maybe
Yeah.
Red
And
Hook,
a teeny bit of Red Hook, right?
Tiny bit of Red Hook.
teeny bit of Hyde Park.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, tiny bit.
Statsburg.
Statsburg.
It's Hyde
Those
Park.
differences will be reflected though
Yes.
in the school tax portion of the
Yeah,
impact
I'm
notice.
just
that it's sent.
trying to
So
figure
you
out.
live in the town of Rhinebeck, but you're in the Clinton School District, and your neighbor, you happen to be on the boundary, and your neighbor is in the Rhinebeck School District, you're gonna have a different tax rate.
Because we will ask for all the levies for every school district to compute the portion of the school.
Yeah,
So we will ask for every,
Right.
I think the Rhinebeck School District is entirely, the town of Rhinebeck is entirely in the Rhinebeck School District.
but some
some
have.
other districts participate.
The surrounding towns.
So we'll break these up.
Does-
Meanwhile, we'll have a list for everybody in town, everybody who wants to see it, we'll have a list. And actually, when we do the informal hearings, we'll print the list, just somebody wants to compare his house with other houses. So we'll have a
Sorry,
printed
Attorney
list,
Warren,
and we can
that's
put it on the
me.
website.
Do you guys have any specific questions or comments?
Are there any issues outside of this particular program that we're looking at?
You
For
can look
example,
at anything.
In particular about the contract?
We don't have a contract yet, correct? So they would be working on a contract with Warren once we,
Did the RFP include a form of contract?
Should have included a contract. Did the RFP include a proposed contract?
I don't remember.
Maybe not, maybe not.
I don't remember.
Maybe not.
Well, I can tell you that our corporate attorney, probably Cheryl Parker, would be the one that handles this, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we had
you would give
a
it-
contract because I think it was based on each individual.
So they'll prepare the
Better.
contract then.
So you'll
When they
prepare a
award
contract
it.
for us?
It'll move the quickest, that way, yeah, at least it gives you a best starting point for
Yeah.
what a reassessment type contract.
Yeah, I've seen
We
it.
didn't know who's going to propose what. When we're doing the RFP, the proposals came in, as you saw, different from each contractor.
So the contract is not included in this, but it's a chance for you to ask them any questions that you might have. They're the recommended vendor. We've all said that we want to proceed with this. I think we'll need to make, a formal resolution at our next meeting or this meeting if you want to hire them, and then we can start preparing the
I think that's what she was waiting to interrupt you, but
Yeah.
it's an official award.
Sure,
right.
I know she won't get going on.
We couldn't award it without the board
I understand
having the
that. Sure,
opportunity to
sure.
meet with you and talk to you.
Absolutely.
And I needed to see this and, anything else from anyone? All right, well, thank you. Matt, Jennifer, anything else?
No, we're just waiting for the go-ahead.
Okay,
Start moving forward.
we will have a formal award for you by the end of this month at the latest.
Okay, I'll ask Cheryl to please get started on it, but I know she won't get full.
So I'll be in touch with you.
I understand.
Well, yeah.
If the board wants to do it at this meeting, we will. If they want to take time, it'll be at our next meeting, which is in 2 weeks.
Thank you very much. I'm not shaking anyone's hand tonight.
This one.
That's right.
Thanks for coming, Steve, appreciate it. You know, this makes it better for us to have the board have an opportunity to discuss it.
Don't send it, don't put me on.
No, I just want to see. Oh, yeah, that's why I have.
Does anybody else have, Brennan, Alan, we're still in session. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn and we can go into attorney-client meeting to discuss the things we have to discuss with Warren, if that's okay. Motion to adjourn, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So moved. We'll be back, thank you. Okay, good evening, everybody. This is now our regular Town of Rhinebeck Town Board meeting for this evening, March 12th. Would everybody please stand for the pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May I have a motion to approve our prior minutes from February 26th, our regular town board meeting?
So moved.
Chauncey, thanks. Brennan, second. Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So moved. Does anybody have any announcements? We have a public hearing open for a local law enacting certain amendments to the town code with regard to subdivision approval and zoning, continued from February 26th. Is there anybody here that wishes to speak at the public hearing?
I just remembered something. Didn't we get something, from the planning board?
Yes,
Um,
they recommended that you adopt these. They had some grammatical suggestions of how things might be rearranged, but felt that if that would in any way hold up the adoption process.
Okay, so you're okay if
Yep,
we
absolutely.
adopt this and then, because we're going to be doing an amendment for the zoning
Exactly.
enforcement stuff?
And these were just
We can do that later.
these were just linguistic things, like a change of words
Okay,
or
so,
something.
so you're okay, the planning board is basically okay
Absolutely.
with this? Okay.
Absolutely.
Have we heard from the CAB in the county?
County, yes.
And the CAB, no response? Okay. Is there anybody who wishes to speak at our public hearing? Should we make a motion to close the public hearing? Is there a motion? Thanks.
Motion.
Thanks. Alan, second?
Second.
Thanks, Ed.
Here.
All in favor of closing the public hearing?
Aye.
So moved. I'll go straight on to the resolutions. We have a presentation from Corinna, but I know that she's not going to be here until 6:30. So let's go straight to tab 7, which is Resolution 2018-082, adopting local law to be numbered of 2018, amending the town code with regard to subdivision approval and zoning. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Alan. May I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Brennan. Is there any discussion? Okay, Warren, do we have to go through and do seeker or draft?
No, it's actually not this local law, because it's all administrative stuff, it's not subject to type 2 action under seeker. And that's it's in the resolution. So just passing the resolution is all you need.
Okay, so local law by roll call, Brennan Carney.
Aye.
Thank you. Alan Scher.
Aye.
Ed Robert.
Aye.
Chauncey Walker.
Aye.
And Elizabeth Spinzia, aye. Thank you very much. Motion passes. Warren, I don't know that we need you here for anything else. You're certainly welcome to stay, but I think we're good.
Good, I can go to another meeting.
Okay, and I know that next week we have, our next meeting will have the local law for the zoning officer and the zoning enforcement officer and the zoning administrator, the bifurcation, and
You will not have,
we
when's the
will
next
not have
meeting?
it.
When is that meeting?
At the end of the month, but we
No,
will have
it's not
West
gonna be-
Miller.
We'll have
Miller Road.
it in April.
Okay, thank you. West Miller will be on.
And then we'll add the planning board stuff.
The West Miller is the 26th.
Yes, all right,
You're all set for the West Miller. Shouldn't be
Thanks.
any problem with that.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks for coming. All right, let's go back to the regular order. I'll make a motion for Resolution 2018-076 for budget transfers and amendments. May I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Chauncey. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So moved. I will make a motion for Resolution 2018-077, our preliminary accounts payables abstracts, 285 to 242, totaling $921,549.98. May I have a second? Thanks, Brennan.
Yes.
For the public, the reason this is so much is we're paying all the fire departments, all the libraries, all the tax that we collect for all of the special districts. We traditionally pay this after we collect our property taxes. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. I am looking for a motion for Resolution 2018-078 for pool, swim lessons, swim team, and camp prices for 2018 summer recreation program.
Motion.
Thank you, Brennan. May I have a second? Is there any discussion or questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So moved. I'm looking for a motion for Resolution 2018-079 for our employee pool passes.
Motion.
Thank you, Brennan. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Alan. I know. That's okay. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So moved. I'm looking for a motion for Resolution 2018-080 for our rec programs.
A motion.
Thanks, Brennan. May I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Alan. Any discussion?
This is like,
This is a nice new thing that they've worked out with Southlands. Could be hopefully really good.
Great. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So moved. A motion for Resolution 2018-081, authorizing renewal of my rec contract for hosting and other services for the rec department administration.
Motion.
Thanks, Brennan. May I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Chauncey. Is there any discussion? I'd just like to say that with Elaine on the case, I know it's an expensive piece of software, she is using it to the max, and it's made everything in our accounting and bookkeeping department so much easier.
I'm really enjoying working with Elaine on
Yeah.
all aspects of the
Yeah.
rec department.
Good. Well, she's really dug into this program, and it's good that we have it. So any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So moved. I would like to, from the floor, we had a previous town board meeting at 5 where we met with Tyler Technologies, the recommended company for our town-wide reevaluation reassessment. We cleared up a few issues with them, and I think the town board wants to very much move forward with this. So I would like from the floor to motion a resolution to accept Tyler Technologies' bid and award the contract to Tyler Technologies, subject to the execution of a contract and at the recommendation of our attorney. And have a second.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Anybody have any comments or? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So moved. Okay, so that's good. Is there any public comment on any non-agenda items? Bob, I see you're here. Are you here just to say?
I'm here with a scout.
Excellent.
Doing a project for the
Thanks
scout.
for coming. If you have any questions for us, we'd be happy to. I know we have a presentation scheduled for 6:30. I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session to discuss a matter pertaining to a specific employee.
Before we do that, I have just a couple items that I guess would fall under committee liaison reports. You want them now, or you want me to hold them?
Whatever you want to do.
I don't care, it's up to you.
Let's go, let's do your things and then I'll
Okay.
withdraw my motion and I'll
Right.
re-put out the motion.
Only take a moment.
Sure.
On the LED project, the steering committee for the Mid-Hudson LED project for the consortium has completed the review of the bids, and they're all being rejected. The 3 bidders all got very good references, but 2 of the bids were much too high in the judgment of the steering committee. One of them was too high, and also, in the words of one of the people involved, was inadequate with regard to about 90% of the technical things.
Oh,
So they've all been rejected, and we're waiting for a recommendation from the steering committee as to the next steps on the LED project. And I suppose it'll be a while, but I will be reporting on that when we get it.
That's too bad, but
Yes, it's...
that was a surprise,
But it's
right?
not being dropped. and
No, it's
we'll-
just-
I think I'm sorry.
It was a surprise, right? I mean,
Yes, the bids were received, I believe, on January 11th. They'd been reviewed, there were discussions with all the bidders. I certainly had the impression that we were likely to accept the bid, but as they got deeper and deeper into it, they just concluded they could not recommend to us, to the consortium, that we accept any of the bids. So that is the decision. I met a week ago with the Committee for the Aging. They are anxious to find ways to use the van more frequently and for additional programs. So I suggest, and they said they need the board's help if they're going to do that. I suggested they give us a plan, try and anticipate problems and suggest solutions, and we would consider their proposal if they can put something together for us to look at. And they thought that was a good idea, and said they will do that.
do they want more regular, like trips like we're running now, or an expansion of
I think as
specialized?
far as the van is concerned, they are interested in finding other ways to use it. We use it essentially for shopping, I'm
Yeah.
told. They're interested in other things, exercise classes, for example.
Yeah, sure.
So we'll see if they are able to come back with something.
absolutely, the help we need really is in recruiting and scheduling drivers. You know, our clerks
Yes,
do
John
that.
has explained that to me, and
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
difficult problem. So I've been alerted to that. And that's all I have.
Great. Thank you. Anybody else? Should I make a motion to go into executive session to
Sure.
discuss a matter pertaining to a specific employee?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
We'll be right back. Thank you.
You have a say?
All right, we're back from executive session. Thanks. We have Corinna Borden, the chair of our Conservation Advisory Board here. Hi, Corinna.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm the chair of the CAB, and I spent the weekend, I'll back up. I'm here because we would like to do a CEA, Critical Environmental Area Demarcation. Does everyone know what those are?
That's yes.
Yes, at Sapasco, okay. So we have a proposal from Hudsonia, and the budget is $4,200. The CEA's budget for the year is $4,300. We talked about it, and we'd love to give you all $2,000, and maybe hoping the town board could help us with the rest of it. I did do some due diligence, because I'm twitchy that way, and I went and read the comprehensive plan about the CEAs that were originally proposed, and Hudsonia spent a lot of time on certain woodland areas and all the rest of it. We feel that Sapasco is a good place to start, because in the comprehensive plan, the number one was to have all of the perennial streams and the open water bodies be demarcated. Which is why, I didn't know this, is why the CAB is also referred to as the Waterfront Advisory Committee. It's because of that particular thing in the comprehensive plan. So, to do a CEA, you all, the town board, would be the lead agency on this. You would be holding public hearings. We would do all of the, the known work in terms of preparing paperwork and making sure that hopefully it all makes sense, with Hudsonia's help, because we're not the experts.
So just so everyone knows, in our comprehensive plan, and you can read this, we are supposed to be doing critical environmental assessments. We did one most recently for White Schoolhouse Road. We're supposed to be looking soil, flora, fauna, and really mapping it out for us. We haven't done one in a while, so as you know, we are, this again is a part-town fund, and we have about $800,000 in our part-time fund, so we can certainly afford to do this, and we should perhaps be looking to budget this. You know, I've been a little remiss in that, and we should, you know, maybe get some advice from the CAB going forward, what else we need to look at and start budgeting.
That would be great.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions?
Is Hudsonia going to do a presentation back? or-
I have their proposal, I'm happy to email it out to everybody. It's fairly comprehensive, they expect, when I spoke to Eric, the work that they'll do, the report will qualify for the written proposal that will go to the DEC. It actually sounds kind of lovely, 6-person day trips, a field survey, and canoes. So they all have such hard jobs to.
Charge me.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to go.
Right, so.
Tomorrow.
Well, can you email us out? We'll get it on the agenda for the next meeting. We'll discuss it. We'll look at funding. And I'm
Great.
assuming this would be something you'd start in the warmer weather.
Yes,
Um,
we have a little time.
Okay. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Does anybody have
Thank
any
you.
other questions? Is there any other comment or question from the audience or anything else that anyone else wants to bring up? May I have a motion and a second to adjourn?
Motion.
Second, so moved. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Thank you.